So Scream 2020, or Scream 5, as most people would kind of call it, but Scream 2020, just because the titling is kind of weird. I forgot who the actors were, the main cast, but it's a lot of the returning characters with some new members kind of taking the reins for most of it. And yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I do recommend it. Even though it's not as good, as funny. It's like one of my least favorite Scream movies, but still a really good movie. But yeah, a little bit about the movie. It's still kind of the same plot. It's still a mystery on who's the killer. The killer's doing these kind of wackier kills. And still a horror movie that emphasizes a little bit of humor. And I really did enjoy the movie for that. I did feel like the humor hit me a little bit harder than all the previous ones, just because I am kind of a young person. I'm 23, and I felt like the jokes were kind of tailored to my generation, and I kind of enjoyed that. I don't know if long-time Scream fans will enjoy that, but I really did like the comedy, even though it didn't like compromise the horror. I felt like in Scream 3, it kind of did compromise the horror aspect of Scream 3, but it should have been more horror. That's why I didn't really like Scream 3 that much. The main cast, the returning cast, first and foremost, they do pretty well. Sidney Prescott and her actor are back, along with some other characters, and it's, they're really functional, and they're actually more than functional. They do contribute to the story a lot more than you would think. And the new cast, even though I didn't really buy their situation, just because in this modern age, like, the Scream franchise kind of lent itself to the 90s horror scene where, you know, yeah, there's a lot of gossip, there's a lot of kind of those things going around in the schools that they went to, but in this new movie, I felt like the situation was a little too unreal, just because they were kind of pointing fingers at each other too much. Like, um, I don't know. I don't know what kind of friends you are to your friends, but me and my friends, we wouldn't automatically go to the blaming game, and we wouldn't kind of stick with it too long, even if there was like murders in the city that we're in. It's just like we're not that kind of people. So I just felt it was a little unrealistic and kind of took me out of it. But it was still pretty good. I think it was very functional. And I think the most important kind of aspect of the movie is the Ghostface killer. I thought he was actually really good. Again, with each movie iteration, there's always going to be a new Scream killer, and there's always going to be some kind of meta thing with him. And I think it was done really well. I love how playful. Yeah, this was the one thing I love about the Scream Face killer, especially in Dead by Daylight. When I used to play that game, he's always kind of like this playful kind of jokester kind of person. He's also kind of clumsy, he's kind of weird, and he's always like, I always dug that about him, and I love how in this movie they kind of carried on that tradition. Now, the thing I don't really like about the movie is that it's trying to be too big and too bold for being meta. Like, I know that the original Scream and Scream movies have always revolutionized that kind of idea with the horror genre, and but since then, since the original Scream, we've seen Cabin in the Woods, we've seen movies that did poke fun at kind of their own genres. So I felt like with this movie, it kind of beat it to death. Like, it was a bit too much meta jokes, meta references. Like, I just felt like it was a bit too on the nose and a bit too frequent for my liking. Like, I liked the original one, even though it wasn't subtle. It was a lot more woven into the story and woven into the actual plot. While in this one, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb outside of the plot. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the movie. A good average movie. Like, for January movies, is actually a really decent watch. January amongst film goers, film lovers, is known for being kind of like the worst year or worst month of the year to watch movies, or at least new movies. So this one, I liked it. I would give it like a C plus, B minus, the same one as the King's Man, but you know, I like the other Scream movies more. Like they had that executed, you know, elements in there that are better than here. But still, that's not me saying this is a terrible movie. This is actually a really good movie. It's just that we've kind of seen it all before, and the things that we haven't seen before are kind of like too obvious, kind of too like they're not really like they don't flow well. But yeah, I think it's a good watch. So yeah, have you seen it? What do you think about it? Leave a comment down below about what you thought about the movie. And yeah, see you later. Peace.